Good morning. Hi, everybody. My name is Kat Webster Yoga, and I am here with my beautiful friend Mika, who is a gorgeous German Shepherd. She's having a little snooze. And today I would like to talk to you about recommended reading lists before you embark on yoga teacher training. So I get this question a lot. What books would you recommend for me to read before I do a yoga teacher training? And it's such a valuable question because I personally honestly believe and know without a shadow of a doubt that not only can one book change your life, but these moments of reading spiritual books can also really elevate your understanding, your personal journey, your healing, your ability to impart wisdom, and essentially make you a wonderful yoga teacher, or more importantly, just a wonderful human being. So, you may have decided to do a yoga teacher training for a variety of reasons, i.e., you may want to be a yoga teacher, and if you do, absolutely wonderful. It's a completely purposeful and rewarding path. However, lots of people do a yoga teacher training because they just want to know more about the deeper side of yoga, so the philosophy, and some people want to use it as a modality for their own healing journey. Anyway, whatever has brought you to be interested in the yoga path, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is honestly, without a shadow of a doubt, the best thing, thing that I have ever found. And why do I say that? Because yoga has enhanced every part of my life, from my ability to love, feel compassion, to be kind, to spread that out to other people. It's made me let go of the past and to realize that I'm not a victim. It's just so life enhancing. And I also believe that it can help you flow more easily in day-to-day life. But anyway, let's get to the books. When you go on a standard yoga teacher training, they will no doubt give you these two books. So I haven't chosen them here in my pile because they're so standard. So you would probably already get this on your recommended reading list. So if you've ever read my book, Finding My Light by Kat Webster Yoga, you may have heard or seen me write about the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Another book that I read, it changed my life. I had it by my bed for years. I picked up every single night for years, read bits, and it enhanced my life. And now I always go back to it. And it almost feels like part of me. So the wisdom imparted in that book is in my heart now. And if I ever find myself in a tricky situation, I think, what would Patanjali tell me to do? So the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, I really recommend the translation by Swami Satchidananda because I love his take on things, but you might want to play around with other translations by other scholars. But the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, so if you want to do a yoga teacher training, definitely get that one. Also, the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is the cornerstone of the Hindu faith. And it is a little snippet from a much larger poem, and it basically teaches us how to live in the path of yoga. It's a discourse between Arjuna and Krishna, and I won't go into it too much, but please get yourself a copy of that as well. And if you first read it, if you read it and you think, I've got no idea what's going on here, just bear with it, because it's one of those things where it just, every year, every passing moment, as your journey develops, you will understand a little bit more and a little bit more. It's not a book to be read once, put in the drawer, and never to be read again. It's a manual for life if you want to walk this path. I am in the process of creating my own yoga teacher training with a dear friend called Laura. And it's going to be an online offering. So in the past, I have done in-person teacher trainings and they have been wonderful. However, my situation has changed now in terms of I left the house where I had the people to stay. I've left the studio, and I just think it would be wonderful to make this available online. Yeah, so this is just a little snippet of who I am and my vibe, because there are lots of yoga teacher trainings out there. But I would definitely say do our online yoga teacher training if you're looking for a way to connect with the spiritual aspects of yoga, as well as the very dance-like science of vinyasa yoga, which is a flowing yoga, which I teach, which I adore, which I feel is really intelligent, and it gets you into this flow state. And the more you can connect with the flow state of life, I do think life becomes more intuitive, more light-filled. So I am vinyasa yoga, and I'm all about the spiritual heart aspects of these things. It's not to say, it's not to say there aren't other elements, but just find your person is what I wanted to say. Okay, so I went on my first teacher training and I've read the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, the Bhagavad Gita. I can't actually remember what other books were on there. There were loads. I have read, honestly, this is no exaggeration. If you go to my house, anyone who knows me, I just have books tumbling over books. It's an absolute book haven. And I've read them all, and I don't know how much of that I digested, but books are, they are like food for your soul. Yeah. Okay, so as I said, I can't really remember all the books I read on my first teacher training, but I do remember what books I bought when I got back. Because when you get back from your first teacher training, you'll be so inspired. I can't even explain it, because you'll meet all these like-minded people and they would have read books, or your teachers on your yoga teacher training will have read books, and you'll just be like getting ideas. So I think the first one I bought when I got back was The Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. Yeah, I mean, this book is full of miracles and metaphysical science. It's about the path of Kriya Yoga, which is a really magnetic form of meditation and mantra visualization and connecting to the divine. And I remember when I first read this, because it's just peppered with so many miraculous stories, I remember feeling slightly ungrounded. I was like going off into this mystical universe, which maybe I wasn't quite ready for. And I can remember reading it in my bed every night and thinking, maybe I can do this, maybe I can levitate, maybe I can time travel. And it was so funny, because after studying the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali in my yoga teacher training, which within that, it tells you how when you walk the yoga path, you will start to get these powers. They're called siddhis. And he describes all of the powers, all of the siddhis that you may or may not, get, cultivate. And then at the end of all that, he says, don't play with those things. They're of no interest to you. But it's like telling a child, isn't it? Like there's all this magic, and then telling them all the magic they could do, but then saying, but don't do that. So you're kind of like, of course I'm going to try. So I remember reading that, and I remember thinking, wow, maybe I'm going to be full of magical powers. But I did have this voice in the back of my head because I do want to be a good yogi. And it was, remember what Patanjali said, don't go there. So I actually put this book down for a while. I kind of had the wisdom that I wasn't ready for it. Maybe, you might have that similar experience. What I would say is, please read this book when you're ready or when you feel like it. Open yourself to the possibilities of miracles, divinity, and the spiritual path. And take everything else with a little pinch of salt and only ever connect to your experience of life. And when you read about all the miracles, let it fill you with wonder, but don't hang on to that because that's not the destination. So that would be my little recommendation if you want to be a yogi. It will open your mind more than probably any book you've ever read. And I use this book all the time in my workshops and classes. I love his style of meditation. I love his lineage and his gurus. And he had he's left his body now, but he had one living disciple who really spread his message. And if you just go on YouTube and type in Swami Kriyananda, he was Yogananda's disciple, and he gives lots of wonderful talks on YouTube for free. So there you go, that's one. The next one, if you know me, about anything about me, I love Ram Dass. I love Ram Dass. And this is his first book, Be Here Now. Remember, be here now. Ram Dass was a Harvard professor, and he was very much into LSD, and he actually got kicked out of Harvard, I believe, and him and a man called Timothy Leary started experiment with LSD as a way to enlighten themselves, so to connect to the reality of the truth of life. Anyway, Ram Dass, got so tired of going up and coming down that he decided he wanted to stay high forever. And he went to India, and he met his guru, Baba Neem Karoli, and he spent the rest of his life basically spreading the message of loving awareness, be here now, and life is a school. And life is a school. And I love him so much. When I start to think about how much, in fact, I could cry now. When I start to think about how much these gurus have really helped me by sharing their message, I honestly feel very emotional. I love Ram Dass. He has got me out of so many pickles in my mind, and I recommend buying this book. It's his story, and he also has written it on beautiful brown paper with lots of pictures. Nothing to do. There is nowhere to go and there is nothing to do. Just trying to get you to realise that everything you need is inside. Okay, so it starts with his personal story about when he went to India and also when he was a little boy. And then in the back it has recipes. So it's called A Cookbook for Sacred Life. It has meditation techniques, asana, so posture techniques. It also has some beautiful quotes. I read one here. What makes a man unworthy of the temple is the cowardice which prompts him to avoid the experience of shame. For this avoidance breeds oblivion. For shame accepted is the greatest treasure. The door will open before your eyes when you have understood this. The only thing that is humiliating is helplessness. The cause of such helplessness lies in ignorance of your errors. Awareness thereof, on the contrary, attracts you to the power of your God.
if you deny the existence of your fault or error, it will strengthen its hold over you. If you recognize it, your awareness will destroy it. He who rejects this will never know the entrance to the temple. You know, it's just this whole path of becoming aware of yourself. And also, I think the thing that really makes me love it so much is just this, how it's so powerful to accept your humanity, to accept your mistakes, to accept these negative emotions, and how that ultimately can give you more power. Yeah, so that's another one. And then another book that I absolutely loved is called The Journey Home. I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce this Swami's name, but Radhanta Swami. So it's an autobiography of an American Swami. Yeah, it's such a wonderful, wonderful story. Again, he was living in America, a Jewish family, searching for the deeper meaning of life. Went to India, traveled to India in a very, very, very basic way. There's lots of funny stories about how he got there, some of them quite scary. It's about him meeting lots of saints and how he finally found his path. And his path is the path of Krishna. You know, Hare Krishnas, you may have seen them chanting around the streets of London. But this Swami is so... And again, you can go on YouTube and type in his name and you will get him doing talks at Google or just talks at his ashram. He's so gentle. And I love gentle. And yeah, so they're my 3 book recommendations. There are so many more. But one thing you'll find is as you start reading these books, other books will come into your, you know, your orbit, and you'll start reading more and more and more. And yeah, I guess all I can end by saying is reading does absolutely changes everyone's life, and it's really powerful to read books that can help you grow as a person. You know, I do also really like fiction books, but I much prefer to read about something that enables me to see the human condition more fully, to be more compassionate, to love myself and others a bit more. And I really recommend the same for you. Now, I'd just like to say, if you would like to hear more details of our online yoga teacher training, the yoga school, which is fully accredited with Yoga Alliance, is called Grounded and Graceful. So how can you find us? You could go on Instagram and type in Grounded and Graceful. You will see us there. You could also go to my website, catwebsteryoga.com, and you can sign up for the newsletter. I haven't actually sent out a newsletter yet about the online yoga teacher training. I just had to check a few things with Yoga Alliance, which is the accrediting body, and I just had to, you know, make sure I could definitely deliver this. And I can, and we can. So we don't know when it's going to be ready yet, but we do know we're aiming for summer. Lots of people prefer to do a yoga teacher training in the summer because it's when they might have more free time. So yeah, sign up to my website, subscribe to me here at YouTube, and let's stay in touch. You can email me at any time with regard to yoga, catherineann.webster@gmail.com. And yeah, all that's left for me to say is I wish you a beautiful start if this is the beginning of your yoga journey. And I hope that the path of yoga can open your heart as much as it has mine, and I hope you can share that love and that magic that you find inside of your own heart with others. Okay, namaste, everyone. Mika, do you want to say goodbye? Do you want to say goodbye? Goodbye. Goodbye. Okay, thank you so much for watching to the end. Namaste.